So you think you can listen to a podcast? Dun 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 dun! Well, you can. Welcome to the PokéBears podcast. I was going to do a new intro to signify the new season, league, whatever.
A new season. We're at a new season.
Fucking finally, right?
Finally.
It only took 22 episodes.
Oh my god.
But anyway, yeah. So I was going to do a new intro, and then I realized that the new intro sucks. After listening to it 4 times, the new intro sucks. At first, I didn't know. I could either love it or hate it.
Yeah, the very first time I heard it, I was like, well, it has a very old sound because like they made it like an updated version, and it was like all the popular sounds of like the 90s.
And now, 20 years later,
20 years later, it just sounds really old and dated. Like
it sounds like a bad NSYNC song.
It does.
Like what you don't hear at college parties.
It does. It sounds like the original song is great. It sounds timeless. This new one just sounds tired and like so old and.
Mm-hmm. But we all live in a Pokemon world, though.
How's it go? See,
we all live in a Pokemon world, Pokemon. I want to be the greatest master of them all, the greatest master. And it kind of repeats forever.
See, this song has not been out for that much less time than the original one, but if you say, I want to be the very best, it doesn't matter who it is, they can automatically tell you the next line. Almost anyone could tell you the next line.
Like no one ever was.
Like no one ever was. Anyway, you want to get to these things?
Yeah.
So we're...
Episode 83.
Episode 83.
Or 201, if you're referring to them by season and episode.
We'll just do 83.
We'll do it chronologically.
Yeah, we know we're in the second season.
Oh, okay. Pallet Party Panic.
Pallet Party Panic. They like doing the alliterations.
I like how it's called that when they're only in Pallet Town for like 12 minutes.
This episode kind of felt like 2 different episodes.
It did.
Because like the first half of the episode was like Ash's like party for
Ash's homecoming.
Yeah.
And then the second half was the whole Pidgeotto thing.
Yeah, they were completely different. They were 2 distinctive storylines.
What they could have done was have like the Spearows and Fearows like sabotaging the party
instead of Team Rocket,
and then Pidgeotto would be all, "What the f***, man? This is Ash's party.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
teach them a lesson."
Shit. But let's not get ahead of ourselves with a possibly better episode. Let's just go through the episode and say how we thought about those particular things in the episode that happened.
A common theme for this season,
so far,
even more so than the last season, and this is saying something. Everything feels so fucking padded. Everything feels so padded.
Padded. Explain yourself.
Like they put so much like time to everything.
Oh,
like, they just have to pad out the runtime.
Gotcha. Pads as an actual filling of
like the filler episodes have filler within them to fill out the time.
This is all filler.
I know.
All of it is filler.
I know.
There is no. We're not in canon. Well, technically we're in canon, but we're not game season. This is fucking filler season. This is off to a great start. The first episode, we're already talking this negatively about this whole season.
I know. So anyway, I can't remember how this episode gets started. I know they're at the
party. Ash is celebrating, and then
they're like,
Missy's like, hey, or.
Well, yeah, it was...
Yeah, Missy's like, hey, we shouldn't only enjoy it, let's send out our Pokemon, and let's be the only ones to do that for some reason. So everyone sends out their Pokemon, Brock first. Brock is the only one who's, like, serious when he sends out his Pokemon. It looks like they just picked a previous battle animation for him.
Well, they do with all of them.
Well, Ash and Misty are happy about it. Like, Misty has, like, one Pokeball in her hand, and she's like, yay, and then sends it out. And Ash just is smiling and throws his out.
Yeah, Brock is like, this is the battle of my life. Go, Onyx!
Eat the food! Eat the food, dude!
Ash is like, oh, I need to send out Charizard so Charizard can have his food.
And Missy's very vocal about not sending Charizard out.
Yeah, which, can you blame her?
No, but it's weird that only Misty is wording this.
I know. We decided to do a flashback to all the times that Charizard was a total douche pants and not obeying Ash. And, like, the way they set it up, you think that this is going to be a Charizard episode because of that. We just saw him, like, we know that Ash lost the league because Charizard doesn't obey him. We're already aware of this situation. Why is this part of the episode?
Maybe there's, like, a huge season gap between this and the Orange Island, so that the audience needed to be reminded. I don't know.
I find that very difficult to believe.
Oh, me too. Also, Misty sent out Goldeen, and it's on dry land when it goes out, and it's hopping along. So why can't Goldeen make more appearances then, if it's able to survive on land? Why can't it actually battle? Why can't it use Water Gun?
Because the creators of the Pokemon anime don't know what consistency is.
Ah, okay.
That's the reason.
That makes sense.
That's the reason. They decided to go off and get some food, or get some more food, I guess. Or Ash does. And Ash goes over, and it's very clearly Team Rocket. Like, they don't even have disguises on. They have, little tiny sunglasses.
Glasses and little kimonos.
That's it. Like, there is no reason for Ash not to recognize them. Like, you remember that part in Thanksgiving when the little turkey, like, wears the dad's face or something like that?
Force, I blocked Thanksgiving out of my memory. And now you reminded me that it exists, and I'm very upset at you.
Well, it makes about as much sense as that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it does. So their plan is to feed them really, really fucking hot food.
Yes.
Like, they just put overloaded with Tabasco and spicy mustard and all the different fiery flavors you could think of. And it actually kind of works.
It does, actually.
It's like they're all distracted. Even Pidgeotto, who never is silly, had like a
silly moment
of breathing fire. So they all have to douse themselves with various water Pokemon. And while they're distractified, Pikachu gets kidnapped by a bush.
By a bush.
That turns out to be Team Rocket. That's a better disguise than...
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was. Because no one... Like, people even watch the bush, like, go towards the... See the Pikachu go away, and they're just like, oh. Alright.
Alright.
That was the thing that just happened.
And then their whole fucking food vendor cart transforms as they reveal themselves to be Team Rocket.
Yep.
They could have gotten away with it.
They really could have.
They could have just Irish ghosted. And Ash would be like, where's Pikachu? Oh, a bush took it? We didn't do anything. We just assumed it was a new Pokemon. Maybe a chain growth variation, but yeah.
We thought Pikachu could use the exercise and beat it, but...
Haven't seen it in a couple hours. Oh.
I'm sure it's fine, though.
So then Ash catches an Elekid. And that's his new...
mascot
Pokemon.
Mascot Pokemon. Elekid would make a very bad mascot Pokemon.
It would.
So
it doesn't have the face for it.
It does not. So they're going up in the balloon, and Ash is like, alright, Squirtle, use Water Gun. Doesn't quite reach it. So he sends out Pidgeotto, and Pidgeotto, of course, busts through the balloon like we've seen it do like 50 times by this point.
So, there we go. Team Rocket obviously didn't plan for it, except
they did!
They had a replacement balloon, and then Arbok, because it's in the sky, is going to be overly powerful.
Yes!
And uses Poison Sting on Pidgeotto, which one-shots it.
With Poison Sting? Like,
hey,
what?
it's Stab. That's a 35. That's 30 base power now.
That's 30 base power. Oh my god. So Pidgeotto's down, and Ash is like, well, I have one other flying Pokemon. Go Charizard.
And then Charizard's distracted by food, and it's just a general f*** up.
Yeah.
Team Rocket fucks themselves over by blasting bombs at the party for no reason.
For no reason. They could have just got away. Like, my god. Just
Do you have
get
to be
away.
terrorists?
Yeah.
For the sake of being terrorists?
Just get away. You're almost there. You're almost getting away.
So then that makes Charizard angry because the food was blasted, so Charizard fucks them over. And then Team Rocket says, we're blasting away again.
Yeah.
And I have a theory about why they say that. We have to watch future episodes for me to be right on that. But whenever they say blasting away, that just means they're going to be back in the
same episode.
In the same episode. Blasting off means they're off the episode.
They're out of the episode forever.
Or we get that cold outro.
Yeah.
Of them.
Charizard saves Pikachu. Ash is like, ha, you're finally listening to me again. We've already done this before. You know, I'm going to get blasted by you, Charizard, and then I'm going to...
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then he blasts him.
Yep. So they go to the Pokemon Center, or was it Oak's house? It was one of the two. Oak's house. Nurse Pidgey back to life because that poison sting just fucked it up.
Maybe it got toxic.
Maybe. Misty's like, Pidgeotto's so great.
And too bad Charizard can't be more like Pidgeotto. Why? So it can lose every time it
battles? Exactly. Exactly.
Too bad Charizard can't be more like Bulbasaur or Pikachu.
Right? Pidgeotto is so great. Yeah, I remember that time.
When it one-shotted to Rhydon?
Well, yes, actually, yes. Every other time it was terrible. By the way, you've seen the meme going around with that shows like Ash's individual Pokemon like and their percentage of ones. Pidgeot's at 0%. That's incorrect. It beat that fucking Rhydon.
It did.
So that needs to be changed.
But maybe because that battle was such a fucking bullshit battle,
they just decided not to count it.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Okay. All right. I'll accept that. I'll accept that answer. So then after that, like, we see that Team Rocket is stuck in a tree with a bunch of Pidgey, and then Spearow are kind of chasing them or whatever.
And so they just hang out there.
They just hang out there
a while.
And then somehow, and I can't remember how, Ash and company come across them. Oh, wait.
It's because Professor Oak
sends them on an adventure.
A quest that will ultimately mean nothing.
Spoiler.
I don't care. It means nothing.
Or not spoiler because like it's never resolved in any way.
We'll talk about it as we get to it.
Yeah, okay.
So right now it means something. Professor Oak tells them that he just got word that his friend Professor Ivy got this mysterious Pokéball. So he wants them to go to Valencia Island to go and pick it up. Because it can't be transported. So Ash is like, oh, so where is it, and how do we get there? And Oak says, go there. Ash is like, okay. So then they're in the woods.
So then they come across, like, a bunch of Spearow or whatever, like, fighting them, and then they come across Team Rocket, and Team Rocket's like, can you get us out of this tree? The Spearow are kind of being mean to us and stuff.
But Team Rocket's like they're just, like, sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, Jesse's doing, like, a high school bored girl pose, and James is just, like, twiddling his thumbs and shit. They're so casual about just sitting in this death tree.
Like, you have Pokemon. You have 4 Pokemon between the two of you, plus Meowth. Like, I know that Spearow are assholes, but they would be able to hold them off a little bit. Yeah.
On Route 1.
Like, you'd be able to beat them. Your f***ing Arbok one-shotted a Pidgeotto with Poison Sting. You'll be okay, I promise.
Does Arbok do any moves other than Poison Sting?
In the show?
In the show.
I think at one point it might have used Bite. And
it uses Bite, yeah.
Maybe Screech and Glare and that kind of crap.
Huh. A Fearow attacked him. Ash just assumes it's the same Fearow that he threw a rock at back in episode 1. I
think you said maybe there was like a little scar on it or something.
I had thought there was a scar, but we both saw the Fearow. There is no scar. I'm guessing I'm thinking of another Fearow with some scar.
You're just projecting a scar.
I'm projecting a
scar. So that way it makes sense.
Yeah. Like if it has like a little missing batch of feathers on the back of its head, that would be that Fearow.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a nice little tie-in to the first episode, but they didn't do that very well.
It is episode 1 of season 2, and that happened back in episode 1 of season 1. So, there's your tie-in. Now it's thematic. And the Fearow does attack Ash with ferocity.
It does.
So it lifts off Ash, probably to eat it or something. Pikachu thunderbolts all of themselves.
Yeah.
And then Ash falls in the tree that Team Rocket's in.
And then Pidgeotto... Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
and then Ash just jumps up and down the tree.
Ash shakes the tree. Team Rocket falls out of the tree, and they're like, what do? Do they just kind of leave? I think they just kind of leave.
They leave. The Spearow said, oh, hey, they moved. Let's go chase them.
Yeah.
So they chase them, along with the Fearow. By the way, if Ash was like a D&D character, his dexterity would be like 20. Because he just jumps up and down that tree like it's nothing, and lands on the branch.
Really impressive.
So Ash says, okay, Pidgeys, it's good to go. And they're like, oh, f*** off. No, it's not. They're going to come back. So he says, okay, here's my Pidgeotto, and it's going to tell you it's good to go. And Pidgeotto says, yeah, I guess it's good to go. I don't know. I'm a bird.
Pidgeotto kind of leads them away. And is that when the Fearow comes back? And does he
Fearow
attack him
by
again?
itself comes back, and yeah, it one-shots Pidgeotto.
Because Pidgeotto, again, It does fine against giant metal cables and balloons and ride-ons, but a Fearow is just
But a Fearow and Arbok? No. It dies.
It's just going to mess it up.
So, I guess because it gained so much experience from losing, Pidgeotto evolves into a Pidgeot.
Spontaneous evolution, one of my favorite aspects of the anime.
Or, if we're going to refer to the Pokemon in the first movie, it Mega Evolves because the trainer had a Pidgeotto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Just think that Pidgeotto evolves into Pidgeotto, and so.
Oh, okay, that too.
Yeah.
So the Pidgeot, I guess, question mark, starts
possibly non-canonical.
Starts attacking the Fearow, and
Ash is riding on
it.
Because this part drove me nuts was when he sent, the recycled animation where he throws out the Pokeball, he turns his hat around and he throws the Pokeball. That doesn't make any sense when you're riding on top of a Pidgeotto.
No.
How are you doing that? You can't just use that whenever you feel like it.
Just find one of those warm air things. Oh, what are those called when hawks just glide? Because there's
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so Pidgeot just do that and sit really still while I do this animation, okay? Thank you. And then he throws the Pokeball in.
And Fearow's not weak enough to be caught or whatever.
Which is weird because he had taken 3 hits in a row from Pidgeot, and then a 4th one from Pikachu, and the Fearow's like, no, f*** you, not whatever.
Doesn't Pikachu knock him out with his one, and then
it doesn't knock him out out. It just weakens it a lot. So then I think Pidgeot. No, all the Pidgeotos attack it, and then that's when it
bugs off. And then Ash is like, "Well, Pidgeot, you've been my best friend forever, so that means it's time for me to release you into the wild."
I guess it would be No. These are Ash's words, or
more or less.
Gee, Pidgeot, I guess if Fearow tries to be sneaky and attack again, it would be better for you to stay and protect these Pidgeotto. But don't worry, I'll be back for you, just like I said to Primeape 60 episodes ago.
Pidgeotto says, "Wait, I know what that means. When you say that, it means you're not coming back.
No!
Don't leave me here! Don't leave me here!"
And Ash just runs.
No, I don't remember what it's like to be in the wild. I will die.
If I kept losing while under a trainer, I'm definitely going to lose in the wild.
And that's the end of the episode.
That's the end of that episode.
Yeah, how'd you feel about it?
I gave it 2.
I also gave it 2.
Because it's not a bullshit episode. It wasn't a shipwreck.
No, it was not this was not a train wreck of an episode.
But it's worse than average, and if you're going to give a Pokemon a goodbye,
have the episode be about it.
Yeah.
I know Pidgeotto was technically in the first half, but this didn't become Pidgeotto's episode until halfway through the fucking episode.
You know what it did? It pulled a Family Guy. It had the first half be about something, and then it loosely went into the second half because of one string.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was Charizard wanting to be more like Pidgeotto. Now let's highlight Pidgeotto.
Now it's going to be about Pidgeotto. Yeah, it didn't make any sense. That was to me the biggest flaw of the entire thing, was that it felt like 2 episodes that got squished into 1 episode. I kind of think the original plan was to make this 2 completely separate episodes. They got through the first one, and then they realized that they didn't have enough material to actually make a full episode.
I think it would have just been better if they just replaced Team Rocket with the Spears in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't need Charizard in the episode at all. We know the story with Charizard. We don't need to see him. We didn't need the flashback.
Fearow goes to the party, swipes Pikachu out of the air. So they have to go follow Fearow into the woods and shit. Exactly.
And then it's entirely Pidgeotto's episode. Let it focus on Pidgeotto. The fact that it sucks at battling. This episode sucked. This might have been the best of the 4.
This
one, the last one.
I think it is the best of the 4, but score-wise, it tied with another one for me.
Same here.
Okay.
So, spoiler for grades.
I know it's a 2. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a f***? Alright, next one.
Next episode, 84.
Okay, Nick. So we just talked about this episode.
We did.
And then I went to play the episode to play the audio to see how it sounded when we talked about this episode. And I didn't turn the mic on. And I forgot to check beforehand because I'm...
Well, it's weird that the first episode that we talked about worked, but not this one.
Yeah, I know, it's really weird. Because I record these in, like, individual episodes
but
at a time. Thank God we do that now, by the way. Imagine if we had done that the way we used to do it with the entire thing all at one time.
No. We had to do that once before, didn't we? Because, like, the quality ended up being shit.
Like, the second podcast or the third podcast we ever did, it was like something happened to the mic or something, and we had to redo it.
Well, at least it's an episode we both are
passionate about.
That's the word I would have used. Yeah, passionate about.
All right, well, do your bit that you're doing before we did it the first time.
Okay.
So this is episode 84.
84. A square in the air, or a scare in the air. It's actually called.
Yeah.
Because I misread it.
You misread the first time.
The dyslexia is kicking in.
Yeah. He doesn't have dyslexia.
The letter replacement is kicking in.
He doesn't have that, but apparently he does now.
Yeah, you know.
The square. Why would it be a square in the air?
Like, I don't know, because the blimp is so fucking shitty that it's a square.
Okay. They're all squares. They're just lame.
Yeah, then that too. That's actually what my justification was. Let's fucking get on with this.
Okay, let's talk about this amazing episode.
So Ash and crew are on their way to Valencia Island, and they're like carrying groceries, which is fucking weird because they never have done that before. Why are they starting that now?
Why are they doing that now?
Where is the grocery store in the middle of the woods? Why don't they just put them in their Pokeballs like I have been assuming they've been doing, or their infinite space backpacks? Or maybe they're just backpacks and they put the Pokeballs in the backpack and like capsule core.
So little column A, little column B.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Like you got your key items, you got your potions.
I mean, it's canonical with the games because you find items when they're in Pokeballs, so.
Yeah. I miss when Pokeballs had their own compartment.
Yeah, I do too.
And they're like, Valencia's on an island. How do we get there? By blimp? Shut up! That's expensive. We have no way of doing that. Ha 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 ha!
But fortunately, Dialga, the god of time, is on their side again.
And has blessed them with a random raffle.
Which they win. So they get a free blimp ride, and they're like, yay! So they go to the blimp place. Meanwhile, Team Rocket,
maybe 5 minutes before the conclusion of that other meanwhile, Team Rocket gets a phone call from Giovanni, who does this fucking Dr. Evil. I don't know, maybe Dr. Doolittle also does this. So he turns around in a chair all fucking boss-like and says, Jesse, James, Meowth, I've got a job for you. I'm promoting you to the Blimp Division, or the Blunderbuss Division, whatever the I called it. It was a fancy name. And I need you to just do that. So do it. And they're all excited because they're being promoted and they can't let the boss down.
Mm-hmm.
But little do they know when they hang up that Giovanni's like, ha 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 ha, I haven't fucking updated those blimps in 20 years. But I have kept up with Jesse and James' insurance. And Persian does that little laugh. And then Giovanni says, what the fuck are you doing, Persian? This isn't fucking Wacky Races. Get the fuck out of here. You're not my Persian. And then the dog from Wacky Races says, you got me again, except I never talked. And so the guy from Wacky Races also comes in and says, that's right, I just voiced for my dog. Let's get out of here, whatever the your laughing dog name was. And then he says, I inspired the dog from Duck Hunt. And then Duck Hunt dog says, no, you didn't. And then they also laugh. And then I got into a coma and I died.
So cutting out all of that.
No, the viewers deserve this. This is better than the shit that we had to watch.
Okay, that's fair. I will give it to you.
Thank you.
I will keep it all in. They get to the blimp place, and this entire part was really confusing. It was like really contrived and underexplained, and for some reason they get to the blimp place. And it's Team Rocket is in the blimps? Like, does Team Rocket own these blimps?
I have to assume that they just went to the wrong blimp lot or something.
But why would they, why would their tickets work here, too?
They don't. Team Rocket doesn't fucking care. They're just going to let them on anyway.
I know Team Rocket doesn't care, but they had to see other people before they get to the blimp.
But did those other people actually check their tickets? I don't think they did. Because Ash purposefully asked, don't you need to see your tickets, to Jessie? And she was like, no, you don't. And so they let them on.
It was still weird. I still didn't get it. I still don't understand
Like, if the guys
why.
are connected with Team Rocket, why didn't they just, But why wasn't it just Jesse and James giving out the free raffle for tickets?
Actually, that would have made way more sense. Like, they get the phone call earlier. They like, oh, let's set up a raffle. Here's fucking Ash. Let's give him a free blimp ride.
Maybe that was Jesse and James, and that's like their best disguise fucking ever. Because there were two of them.
There were two of them. Yeah, it was an amazing disguise. They could never duplicate it. They get into the blimp, and Ash almost falls through the floor of the blimp, and Brock and Missy kind of look at him for a second. Ash says, hey, guys, and they're like, oh, okay, well...
Damn it, we were about to kill you, Ash, but yeah, so...
So, we have consciences. We could have ignored you and claimed we never heard you fall, but yes, now we can't do that.
Now we can't have deniability. So then Jesse checks in on them, and Misty immediately says, buzz off.
Yeah.
Which is incorrect. You should say, hey, what the fuck is up with your blimp? My friend nearly died. You need to, like, fucking put us in the cockpit. The only place that's guaranteed to not have us fall through. And then Jesse would be like, oh, well, here, you want dinner? And then they say, okay.
She does offer them dinner, and it's cold soup for dinner.
It's Eskimo soup.
Eskimo soup, as James calls it.
Mm-hmm. But then
we see Meowth is cooking food.
Like, actively cooking. Like, using an oven and a stove.
So why was why was it cold food? I don't get that.
It's an appetizer. It's an appetizer.
Yeah, whatever.
It's soup. Like,
we are giving a little too much thought on soup here.
God. Oh, but fucking Jigglypuff, though.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, this episode has the trifecta of the bad...
Team Rocket just being used as plot developers. Yep. And Jigglypuff, and we'll introduce the third one in a second. But Jigglypuff is so fucking delusional that on land, it sees the fucking water dispenser on the blimp and thinks it's a mic. So it just tackles it and then releases water, which causes the blimp to rise prematurely. But who fucking cares? Because they don't. It just, oh, we're inside the blimp already. Who cares?
Yeah, who gives a Yeah,
so Jigglypuff gets pulled up into the blimp. It's being pulled on the rope. And I'm like, good, the Jigglypuff could be tortured, except it isn't.
Yeah, except it gets into the blimp. This is amazing!
So then they have dinner, and then they notice that Togepi's missing. And then they're like, oh no, we have to go find Togepi. And there's the trifecta.
And that completes the trifecta. Good. This episode's so bad. So they're looking for Togepi.
Hey, we're halfway through it, man. We're halfway through it.
They're looking for Togepi for a while, and they don't find him. And then Team Rocket does they reveal themselves, and they do their laziest motto.
Hold on. No, before they do that, they find out the blimp is imbalanced.
Yes, they do this gag twice.
No, but this is the first time. Let's
I know.
Let's talk about the first time. Let's talk about it as it happens. So the blimp is imbalanced. And so James has to fucking, like, dispense each of the water things, but he can't do it right, because he doesn't fucking know what moderation is. So he just puts his, like, hand on the button, like, 5 seconds at a time.
So he keeps seesawing back and forth, because he's
maybe that's how they lose Togepi. That would make...
That might be how they lose Togepi.
I kind of blacked out.
So. I did too, because it was dull as shit.
So then they're looking for Togepi. Meanwhile, Jigglypuff's in a fucking ghost blanket.
Like a tablecloth falls over it. And instead of, like, trying to get it off, it's just like, okay, I have a tablecloth over my body now.
Because
part of me now.
Because that blimp might be haunted, remember?
Yep. This Jigglypuff isn't a fucking character. It's an object.
It's a doll.
It's a singing object. It has... Because it's not even about having personality. It just doesn't do anything except for walk around and sing. It's all it fucking does.
It pouts. It also pouts. That's the only emotion it has.
It does pout. Alright, so the fucking Team Rocket finds them in the ship, and they're like, to protect the world from devastation. I sound drunk.
They might as well have been, because they had, like, no motivation in it.
I know. There was, like, no energy in this episode at all. No energy, no effort.
They find Togepi, and it's somehow on the fucking top of a goddamn high beam.
Yeah.
That you can only get to if you're climbing a ladder, which is impossible for Togepi because it's shorter than the steps between the ladder. I can only assume it used metronome and then teleport.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Weirdly.
So then Team Rocket has a battle with them, and Ash is about to send out Pikachu, but Misty's like, no, we'll fucking explode because I don't know anything about modern blimps anymore, and I'm assuming that they use hydrogen in this blimp. So then Brock says, I'll use Geodude to punch Weezing up into the blimp and create a hole. And that, okay, remember when we couldn't figure out how Team Rocket fell out of the blimp? That's how.
That's how they just fall out of the blimp.
They fall out of the blimp because Team Geodude punches them.
And then Jigglypuff...
Oh, and there's a storm.
There's a storm. And Jigglypuff, like, falls on top of their parachute while they're parachuting down from the blimp.
Because, like, Meowth had to make a makeshift parachute out of, like, the blimp's piece of canvas. And then Jigglypuff just hops on the blimp. It's like, oh, I'm fucking Jigglypuff. Here, let me do the one thing I'm fucking gonna do, even though when I was introduced, I had no fucking confidence in myself. So now I'm just gonna do it all the fucking time because I don't have any fucking character. So then it sings, and Team Rocket falls asleep, and lets go of the makeshift parachute, which should also cause Jigglypuff to fall into the abyss of the ocean and also die. Except because Team Rocket doesn't die, of course Jigglypuff doesn't die, and we have to fucking deal with it for the fucking rest of the Orange Islands. Remember when I said I hated Jigglypuff because they use it in every episode? They didn't use it in Kanto. But I was fucking remembering Orange Islands.
Yeah.
It's in every fucking episode that we've seen so far.
Yep.
Except for the last one.
Yep. Yeah, it's completely insufferable. And there's no reason behind it.
God.
So they do the gag again with leveling the blimp. A gag here used very loosely, by the way.
And they use it with, like, fucking Ash going back and forth between
with the Pokemon.
with the Pokemon in the blimp.
What
Ash!
they did before in the shipwreck episode.
Go in the center of the blimp! The center! That will give you balance! Don't go all the way to the right and then all the way to the left. If neither of those work, don't go back to the other one. Just go, meet yourself in the middle. Find that sweet spot. F***ing Christ. So then they crash into the landing zone.
The landing zone.
And that's the end of the episode.
Episode fucking blows, man.
Yeah, literally. I gave it an exploded Voltorb. It's a 0.1.
It's such a low scoring episode for Nick that he has to invent an entirely new system.
No, I've used the system before.
He has. I don't think you've ever used the exploding Voltorb.
I've used an exploded Voltorb. I forget which episode it was, but I remember I was backtracking the episodes, and I found one exploded Voltorb.
I gave this one Voltorb too. Like, this is just a pointless, padded piece of fucking shit episode. Like, you could skip this episode entirely, and you wouldn't miss anything. In fact, you should. No one should sit through this stupid episode.
And you know what, viewers, listeners? I'm sorry, because I assume most of you watch the episodes and then listen to our podcast. And I wish we could somehow go back and tell you to just skip this episode. Because you know what? The fucking next episode, episode 85, has a fucking recap of this episode.
So you don't need this episode at all.
At all.
You don't need it.
You can spare yourself the anguish. Or you can just watch it to find out why we're so fucking mad. And then you can be mad. And then we all just fucking find ourselves in the goddamn madhouse together. Fuck, I'm done.
Anything else with this piece
No.
of shit? Next one?
Next one.
Alright. So, episode number 85.
Pokéball Peril.
Wow.
So, okay.
I just realized how lame this episode is. Such a nothing episode that they had to name it after the Pokéball.
I mean, that's why they're there. That's the whole
I
mission.
Know. They don't. Nothing comes of it.
My first immediate question is: they're walking out of the. They're on Valencia Island and they're just walking about. Why aren't they like being arrested or interrogated because they crash landed a blimp on the landing port? Or why aren't they at least being interviewed like Sully? That's why I asked who the guy who landed the New York plane was, because
Captain Sully.
Captain Sully, because I find it unbelievable that no one would have stopped them
and been like, "Hey,
that blimp has been decommissioned for 20 years. Why is it on our fucking landing port?"
Who are you and how are you alive, by the way?
I don't know. We just got kidnapped by Team Rocket. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
move along.
Move along. You guys enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. First line of this episode is Ash complaining about it being hot. I was like, yay. This is what I like in my Pokemon anime. 11-year-old complaining about
temperature.
being hot. Yes. Compelling shit right there.
So they go to a Pokemon Center.
They go to Pokemon.
And because it's on an island, of course it's going to be all fucking, like...
tropical themed.
Tropical island native themed.
Yeah. It was an interestingly designed Pokemon Center. I'll give them that.
Yeah, but, like... The person who runs it is still fucking Nurse Joy, who looks exactly like all the other Nurse Joys.
I know. You know, after a point, it stops being, like, a joke and starts being, like, just put someone else in charge. That, like, find an interesting character design
like,
or
at
something.
least, if you're gonna make, like, the Pokemon Center, like, all fucking, like, island native, like, thing, make the Nurse Joy Polynesian or something.
Yeah, like, make it...
Like, make her tanner or with, like, black hair instead.
Like, it stops... It hasn't been funny for, like, 60 episodes. You only need to do that joke twice.
The only reason this Nurse Joy is different is because she's wearing, like, a green apron for no fucking reason.
That's the only difference.
So then, and they only use her to be like, oh, hey, we're gonna pop by later. But also, where is the lab that we need to go to? Because Professor Oak sucks at telling people what to do. And then she says, oh, it's that fucking white-ass building over there. The huge one. Just go there. And so they do. And then I forgot how fucking annoying these triplets were.
Oh my god. Yeah. Why were they in the episode? They didn't really
They're
add
assistants.
anything.
They're assistants.
They added this little bit much of anything to the story.
I like how you do that when this is an audio format.
I know. I know. I held up my fingers less than an inch apart.
There we go.
That's what you need to know from that.
They put a modicum of story into this episode.
Yes.
Which doesn't have a lot of story to begin with.
No, it does not.
So then they're like, oh, yeah, well... And they talk like this. They literally talk like this.
Hi, we're triplets. Blah,
we have giant glasses, and we're nerds, and we're girls who finish each other's sentences. So then they say, okay, well, I'll help you get Professor Ivy. And fucking goddamn Professor Ivy. Holy fucking shit. Like... Okay, Delilah was the hottest lady in this episode. Nope. Now it's Ivy. Ivy is
a
Ivy's a fucking 10. She even has fuck me eyes, man.
She really does. Like, oh my god.
She's in this hot ass bathing suit, and I'm so sorry for being like for being machismo here, but fucking Christ, she is fucking gorgeous.
Like, even I love how they, like, Brock is sort of, like, in the background when they're talking, and his face is just, like,
he goes into Brock, like, overdose. Like, he's just, like, giggling and, like, oh my god. Oh.
And I'm sitting there like, yes, Brock,
I have to pull out all the brakes on this one.
You need to tap that. At the end of the episode, he gives some bullshit reason for wanting to stay, like, oh, they need my help.
Hey, let's get to that. Let's get to that. I want to talk about Brock's... Okay, I want to talk about Brock's arc as it happens.
Sure.
Because I gave this episode a low score, but I do like its development. My note was Ivy's ridiculous hot, and then I drew a little hot. I drew her face with the eyes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. But then, the one thing that's disappointing is that she's voiced by, like, the bee, Katie Seagal. Yeah. Like, her voice kind of drags.
Yeah, I wish her voice had been done better. I'm sure this
Katie
voice
Seagal
actress
would be a fantastic cast for this.
Yeah. This voice actress, I couldn't find anything of her on IMDb at all. Like, this character is not listed under the episode. Exist. And this is, like, a main character of the episode. It's just not there.
Maybe Katie Seagal was taking a break from Futurama. And, by the way, she plays Leela from Futurama. And, it's like, yeah, but I'm not going to try that hard, so can you just not credit
like,
me?
I'm on Quaaludes right now. My energy level is already sinking. Because she gives very little energy into her performance here. And she's very...
These file plumes are different than the mainland file plumes.
It was with such like a very, to be honest, a very attractive character design. The voice just totally ruined it for me.
Her boobs alone!
I know! Like, they went into detail with the cleavage there.
Yeah. And then the face, the hair, God. They were just missing a butt shot. But then it would be obvious that she's hot. And they don't need to put that much
obviousness into it.
No, that's what the movie's for. No, I'm kidding. I wish that's what the movie was for. God, I'm getting creepy now. Anyway. So then Ivy shows them along the whole research lab, and they're like, wow, you need all this space for your Pokemon? Yeah, they're fucking wild animals. Of course I need all this space. Do you not know what a fucking refuge is?
So the rest of the episode, a lot of the rest of the episode is just, well, this is how I feed the Pokemon. Feed them, and they're gonna eat now, and see that? They're eating, and that's how they eat.
Oh hey, it was Vileplume. It's nighttime, so they're doing some pollen dance or something. Oh no,
Yeah.
Eradicate! Oh no, now I'm pollened. Now we're both...
And they go to the... This happens at night, and I guess Brock stumbles upon her or
Oh,
something.
Brock's been cleaning and cooking and stuff.
That's right. So they have to go to the Pokemon Center for, like, a hospital.
And Ash and Misty are so fucking sleepy.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's so fucking insensitive. Like, wow. It's really important that we woke up for this.
For a person in the hospital?
Yeah, I mean,
She's
really
in the hospital,
important.
dude!
But I was sleeping, though.
You were...
I was sleeping.
So your sleep patterns are more important than this person's potential life?
Honestly, yes.
At least you're upfront about it.
Yeah, Misty and Ash are just
They were so awful. It was so bad.
My note is, F*** you, Ash and Misty. Someone is hospitalized.
Yes. Alright, I don't remember how this, what goes from there. Is Team Rocket in this episode? Is Jigglypuff? I don't know.
Actually, I don't think they are. Or if they are...
No, they're rebuilding the blimp.
They're
rebuilding the blimp. Oh, yep, I remember.
Yeah.
Because, so what happens next is Ash and Misty are like...
You're about to skip my favorite line in this episode.
Oh, no, I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the...
Yeah, I'm talking about that.
Oh, no, I'm getting there. See, the next day, Ash is like, all right, well, it's time for us to go. And Misty's like, yeah, let's go. And then they're like, hey, Brock, are you coming with us? And Brock's, like, on the roof, like, building the roof. I don't know. That was...
Look, I guess he's just expanding their house.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay. And he's like, nah, man.
This ship needs a captain. And he does, like, a captain's sea pose.
Yes.
And Zubat just flies by like a fucking seagull.
And it just goes like... It was great.
That made me raise my initial score for this.
Me too, actually.
Like, I was like, oh my god, that's, like, fucking perfect. Brock, this is why I love you.
Yeah. This made me appreciate Brock a little bit more.
I was giving it a lower score initially because I found it unbelievable that Professor Ivy, a Pokemon professor, would not know that Butterfreeze, which is essentially a giant butterfly, likes sweet food.
Yeah.
You find that out in, like, grade school.
I know. How is that not something that she would come across?
Why does she... Why is
she's like,
it such a revolution that Brock is able to make good Pokemon food?
Just add sugar to it, idiot. Or put some berries on it. Put some blueberries on that shit. By the way, we completely skipped over them finding about the GS ball.
Oh, yeah, they found the GS ball. This very important thing that is going to be very important. And that will be resolved.
Reveal later. You just wait, guys. There's going to be a huge reveal for this thing later.
That GS ball. So important. So then they're like, we can't teleport it and we can't fucking open it. Here's all these fucking stupid things we did in order to try and open it. Like, we lasered it and nuclear bombed it.
And we had a drill
and buzzsawed it. And none of it worked. It's made out of gold and silver.
And it's indestructible.
Haha, get it? Gold and silver. Maybe there's a little crystal button in the middle of it. I don't know. But it's gold and silver. It's a GS ball. Do you see what we're doing yet? Do you see the hint of the next generation of Pokemon? Because that's what it is. That's what it fucking is.
So Ash and Misty just kind of walk away, and
after Ivy gave them that very dark speech.
Yes.
That I just worded.
So Ash and Misty leave Brock behind. Brock's not in the rest of the season, really? Is that correct?
Yeah, no. That's how they get rid of Brock, because apparently
he's gonna stay there and get laid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Brock's gonna get
all the laid.
Oh my god.
The reason why he probably rejoins them is because, like, he got so much laid.
His penis broke.
It became awkward.
Like, he f***ed one of the triplets, and then it was just, oh god, I have to f*** the other two if I have to stay here, and I can't go through with that again. I should have just stayed with Ivy, but the one triplet was different. Not as beautiful, but different.
They leave Brock behind. They get to the blimp, which Team Rocket has rebuilt.
And they made, like, it really good.
Yeah, I mean, my god.
In one day, it's a f***ing mermaider again. or a Misty Mermaid.
Yeah, they accomplish a lot in 24 fucking hours.
I mean, Jessie is a superhuman, so it makes sense.
It does. So they go up into the blimp. They don't recognize Team Rocket for a second time.
And this disguise is even worse.
And this guys, they're like wearing little mustaches, whatever. They go up in the blimp. And
they do nothing with the hair.
They don't.
Jessie at least had like her hair tied up in the last episode, but now it's just fully flowing. And because she has a mustache, she can get away with it.
So they're up in the blimp and they're sitting in chairs in a blimp. Okay. And then Team Rocket's like, oh, hey, we're Team Rocket. And then they catch them in cages.
And Ash is like, I'm going to use Pikachu. And then Team Rocket says, oh, no, we filled this up with hydrogen. You'll die.
We will all die.
We purposely put hydrogen in this one.
We will all die. So guess who else appears after that?
Jigglypuff!
Jigglypuff!
Who had shown up, like, this is the last 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
So Jigglypuff showed up, like, a minute before, and, got knocked off.
Because the propeller started going on the blimp.
So, Jigglypuff was knocked off and presumably never seen again. But all of a sudden, Jigglypuff's in the blimp.
In the blimp.
Fucking fairy Pokemon with your mischief magic.
What? Yeah.
No!
So now Jigglypuff's in the blimp and it sings everyone to sleep. And, Team Rocket was going to jump out with parachutes this time. And then it said Jigglypuff makes them fall asleep right as they're jumping out. And I think Jigglypuff also falls out because, the door opened and she got sucked out with the door.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah. I don't remember how this ends, actually. I'm realizing this now. I don't know how this episode ends.
Jigglypuff sings.
Yeah. They're asleep, and then they're... By the way, did you notice that...
The blimp crashes into land.
That was it. Did you notice that both these episodes, the last episode and this one, no one was steering the blimp in either episode, and the blimp was just kind of drifting off in a general direction. By some fucking miracle, it lands at the exact island where they needed to land at.
They even talked about how no one was piloting the blimp in
the last one.
The last one. Was it on autopilot? Do blimps have autopilot?
Why are you asking
90s blimps have autopilot?
I don't know. My knowledge of blimps is limited to what is mentioned in the episode of Archer. Which, by the way, watch that, not either of these episodes.
Watch this one for Ivy. So at least this episode has 3 things. It has Ivy's f***ing hotness, Brock's awesomeness, and then Ash's little quip about why the blimp sucked, which was the food was bad and they didn't have a movie.
Yep. That was funny.
That was
because they just played it so... that's the reason why the blimp sucked. And they played it so straight-laced. That was funny. The only other thing was that there was a little bit of world building in this episode, and that was kind of cool.
Because there are different... Because Professor Oak and Ivy are talking about their different research papers.
Yeah.
And Ivy is researching Alolan Pokemon.
Yeah.
The basic equivalent of Alolan Pokemon.
Essentially, yeah. Because they have different, slightly different forms and shit. So
the Butterfree has red spots on its wings, and
the Weeping Bell is a goldish color instead of yellow.
And Vileplume has different markings on its petals, so that's cool.
Yeah.
World building.
Other than that, any complaints on this episode though, Nick? Any complaints?
Jigglypuff's in it for the f***ing purpose of being a f***ing Jigglypuff.
Yep.
The triplets suck.
And
we are saying goodbye to Brock, who of the 3 main characters is my favorite.
Also, this episode is super padded. It's just very little happens in this episode. There's such little plot in this episode. It's just we're feeding Pokemon now, and we're feeding Pokemon, and Brock likes to cook. That's kind of cool.
Wow, Brock, you're really good at cooking and making Pokemon food. I wonder what I use my 3 fucking identical triplets for. Nothing.
Yeah, this episode was not entertaining for me very much at all.
It was going to be a 2, but then Jigglypuff showed up, so it became a 1.5.
Same for me. I also gave this episode a 1.5.
Was it a 2 ever?
No.
Ever? No, it was stayed at 1.5.
It was pretty much a 1.5 the entire time. There's nothing about this to elevate it for me. This one is saved from being a 1 mostly because the most previous episode was so incredibly stupid and pointless and dumb
that you can't give this one the same.
Yeah.
rating.
Exactly.
That's why you need to start using exploded Voltorbs. It's gonna save yourself a lot of grief.
Grief?
Grief. Grief and grief.
Strife?
No, not strife. Like, grife is a word.
I don't think it's a word.
Well, I'm gonna look it up. We're gonna find out after these messages.
After these messages.
Okay, it is a word. Grife. Except it's Portuguese, so it's grief. And it means to label.
It means to label?
Yeah, so it is a word. I just used it wrong. And I had a unique understanding of that word, or the fact that it existed, because my mom's from Brazil. So,
well, I guess I apologize then.
Yes, as you should.
How silly of me. I forgot
that last episode, 2 episodes ago, is going to cause you to label a lot. That is what I meant when I said that.
Sure. I bet it is. Are you ready for the last episode of this podcast?
Episode 86.
The Lost
Lapras. I'm sorry, go on. It's the
Lost
Lapras.
The Lost
Lapras.
We're not doing that.
Lost Lapras.
I hate you. So Ash and Misty get to this island, and this
Angelico Island?
Yeah, something like that.
So they had crash landed on Angelico Island, and they were in the middle of the jungle. They didn't know where the was going to happen. They thought they were going to have to die, or...
Except then they kind of get to a city, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, a tour group finds them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The tour group
and
finds
they
them.
abuse Pikachu with a bunch of photos and stuff.
Yep.
And so then they go find themselves in the city.
Yep. And then they find a little beach, and there's 3 guys just, like... Beating up a Lapras.
Like... what kind of a person beats up an animal?
I know.
They're
so
out in public. Out in
public.
Like, I can understand basement or the backyard where you're in your own private room and, like, you have domestic abuse there. But public abuse?
Yeah,
this is unbelievable.
That's up.
So, yeah, they're beating up a Lapras, and Ash is like, hey, you can't beat up that Lapras. And they're like, oh, we're using this Lapras to go fight the Orange Crew. And Ash is like, I don't know what that is, but I'm intolerant. Go Pikachu. And then they send out their Pokemon, and only one of them has a good Pokemon.
A Beedrill,
and a Spearow.
And a Spearow.
A Spearow that we had only seen like 3 episodes ago.
They probably just like were like, oh well, we still got like little Spearow stencils that we can use. Let's just have them have a Spearow.
Just crudely Photoshop it in there.
Just crudely Photoshop it in there. It wasn't, but that's what they could have done.
But fun. I would have laughed if they had just had like the Photoshop line over it. And it's like Spearow, and it's like Cypher.
So this episode also introduces us to Tracy.
Tracy Sketchit.
To Tracy Sketchit. Now Tracy was the Orange Islands. I never watched any of this part of the anime, but I
read novelizations.
I read the novelizations of it, of not all of it, but of quite a bit of it. So I knew who Tracy was, and I knew what his deal was. I knew that he was like the Brock replacement and all that kind of stuff. This is my introduction to this character's
voice.
Yeah.
What were you looking for?
Just like the animated version of this character. This character on screen. I was not impressed.
You know, it's always by Giovanni.
Yeah, I know. The same guy who voices Giovanni, who does a really good job with Giovanni, so this is very fine voice actor. Plays this character. Not very good.
Well, hey, I take offense to that.
I'm going to say every line like this. Like, every single line is going to be delivered the exact same way.
I like to trace Pokemon because my name is Tracy. There's no type that allows me to be a gym leader, so I have to do the next best thing and be a fucking Pokemon watcher who's bad at my job.
I still want to... I wanted it to be like a gag that like Tracy like was like a sketch artist of Pokemon, but he was really shitty at it. I wanted that to be a thing.
Either really shitty or he does some like super abstract.
Yeah.
Like cubist Pikachu.
And no one wants to tell him that like he sucks because he's really into it, but he's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy. He's somehow able to like stop a fight.
Yeah.
Mid-battle.
Just by being like, hey, let me sketch your Pokemon. That's his entire personality, by the way. His entire personality is, I draw Pokemon and I'm kind of nice. And I deliver every line like this.
And you said you were happy that Brock was gone. You said this, Forrest.
Well, Brock didn't have much personality either.
He had more personality than this.
Yes, I know. I now realize I was wrong. There are characters out there who could have less personality than Brock.
Plus, I think Brock has more personality than Misty, and arguably Ash. Ash's personality is just louder.
Yeah.
He's not, like, written like Brock is. Like, Brock, we know Brock's, like, interests. We know what he's good at. We know what he... We don't really know what he hates and stuff like that we could probably cover. We know what Misty hates. That's what they cover very well for Misty. And Ash just wants to follow his dreams. But Brock has interests. And that's why I like Brock.
Because he has interests. The other characters don't have interests.
Yeah, he's mature. He's a fleshed out person. He helps.
I'll give you that.
And Tracy's just that. He only helps.
Yeah, Tracy's just kind of there. It's better than Todd.
Yeah, but Todd was like at least Todd's only in 3 episodes.
It's true.
Also, why is Ash willing to let this random stranger sketch his Pikachu when he wasn't going to let this kid who had told him why he wanted to snap a picture of Pikachu, snap a picture of Pikachu? Where are your priorities, Ash?
He's inconsistent. Oh, I wrote that Tracy's cross-eyed.
He is, because as he's explaining the Orange Crew is what we call the 4 trainers who you battle. I don't know. I could not listen to him because I was too distracted by fucking eyes.
He's so... I mean, most anime characters are at least a little cross-eyed, but his, like... Just like...
They're, like, going into each other's eyes. As the scene moves, you just see him cross his nose. And then off his head in the other direction.
How does he sketch anything? He can't possibly see them.
He sees everything. He has true vision.
I also wrote that the kids who trample Team Rocket are really rude. Because Team Rocket's like at the entrance to the Pokemon Center. These kids trample Team Rocket. I mean, I know that Team Rocket's a piece of shit. These kids, they just trample random people.
Yeah, do they do that with everyone?
Exactly.
Who happens to be on the sidewalk? Like, off, here, let me fucking curb stomp the back of your head.
Jesus Christ.
Also, why is that one kid better than Misty as a Pokemon trainer when he's 8?
He has a Starmie.
He has a Starmie. And Misty left her Starmie, which she never used, in the Pokemon Center.
Such a disappointment.
So then they're like, oh, and that Lapras, it got lost from its family in that storm. Probably the storm that you flew through. So, hey, there's some canon there. That's cool.
Yeah, they're keeping track of things. What a coincidence.
So, you want to help find that Lapras' family? Yeah, sure. What else are we going to do other than fucking return the GS ball to Professor Oak and distract ourselves with the season of going to 4 different trainers to battle them and or do random miscellaneous shit with them. You'll see that as we go on through.
Yay.
One of them's actually a legit good battle though.
The rest of this episode, does even anything happen in the rest of this episode? He calls Professor Oak. This was actually a funny part because he calls Professor Oak and he's like, "Hey man, I want to do this Orange Island challenge. Sounds pretty fun." Professor Oak is like, "Yeah, you could get in some rigorous training while you're at it." And Ash is like, "Yeah, and then I can learn what rigorous means." I really like that joke. That was a good joke.
He said it so like the way he said it was just great.
Yeah, because he was enthusiastic about it.
He didn't say what does rigorous mean. He just said, "Yeah, I can find it out on means."
Yeah, just find it out on my own.
And so Tracy's like, "Oh wait, you guys know Professor Oak?" I'm sorry. Tracy says,
"You're giving him way too much lilt in his voice."
"You guys know Professor Oak? I love Professor Oak. I'm gonna follow you so that way I can meet him, because I know 2 people who now know Professor Oak."
Can we just not talk about Tracy? I feel like if we don't talk about him, we're not gonna miss anything.
But we have to talk about him. He's part of the episode. This is what it means to critique episodes, Forrest.
I know.
This is what it means. This is what we got ourselves into.
I know.
I was dreading this season.
I know.
And I was wondering if we should just skip it. But no, we have to.
No, we can't skip it. We can't skip it. Sasha's like, all right, I'm going to bond with this Lapras. And, because Lapras is, like, really scared of people now because getting the shit kicked out of them.
By the way, they're on a truck. They're on a truck. Like,
Yeah.
Tracy's sitting on a truck.
Oh.
They probably got the Lapras onto the truck or to put it in this pool. So there's a truck there.
Yeah.
So go on.
Okay, so anyway. So Ash starts, like, bonding with the Lapras. He almost drowns for, like, the 12th time in the show so far. And the Lapras is, like, really nervous around people because, you know...
He got beat.
Which
they showed off screen. We heard the sound, but we can't show the violence itself.
In a show about animals committing violence to each other. Whatever. Ash tries to bond with the Lapras, and then, of course, who comes up to steal the Lapras away?
Jigglypuff?
Was it Jigglypuff?
No, it was Team Rocket.
Okay, I was about to say. I mean, I know I'm crazy, but I didn't think I was that crazy. At least not yet.
Jigglypuff was in this episode, though.
What did it do?
While they were there randomly, it showed up, sung, and then everyone fell asleep because Tracy was going to draw it, and then... Yeah, it did nothing.
That was it, yeah.
It did nothing.
Which is almost worse than when it does stuff. Is when it just pops up and puts people to sleep and then leaves. It's like...
At least it resolves things before.
It's like a minute or two of animation just completely wasted.
Because Jigglypuff... Yeah. I'm honestly afraid that Jigglypuff's going to show up in every episode of the Orange League.
Seems like it's so far it's
3 for 3.
3 for 4.
3 for... Well, does the Pidgeot episode count?
It's part of the season, at least.
Okay, 3 for 4 then.
3 for 4.
So then Team Rocket shows up, and they're like, we are going to capture this Lapras. And by the way, this is our truck, apparently. Or we're going to steal the truck, too?
I was like half in a coma throughout most of these 4 episodes because they were so bad, so I might have missed a part.
So Team Rocket,
they're in a truck now, and they're driving away, and... was
Ash and the gang and Tracy.
They're chasing after them on bikes?
On bikes, yeah.
Where did they get the bikes?
I don't know.
Why do they have bikes now?
Because they do.
How are they riding bikes as fast as Team Rocket can drive a truck?
You know, they don't. They can't. Ash is only able to catch Team Rocket because he does some fucking acrobatic shit. Like, he's driving as fast as he can, gets on front of the bike, and then hops off it. And then we see Misty and Tracy, like, gasp because I thought the bike was about to hit them.
Yeah, I did too.
But then it just doesn't. They're only gasping because Ash gets on the truck. So he does some more, like, acrobatic shit.
Like, even Mad Max would be like, holy shit, man. Like
calm
awesome.
Get off the spray paint, man.
Ash hops into the cab with Team Rocket.
Let go of Lapras!
And then they end up crashing. It somehow ends up that the truck and the bed get unhooked from each other, and Team Rocket goes blasting off.
Because there's a cliff that goes directly from the road, and Misty and Tracy are binocularing this shit.
Yeah.
They can't be bothered to, like, catch up with them or find a car for themselves.
Yep.
I forget how they get blasted off. I assume Pikachu just thunderbolts them.
Team Rocket? No, they, like, fly away in the bed of the truck, in the cab of the truck, remember?
Oh, they fly away, and Ash
somehow doesn't, Ash somehow
they were
doesn't.
in, like, the cargo of the truck,
the
bed. So because Lapras is in there, it's heavier.
And then the bed of the truck goes off the cliff.
And then so they plummet.
And Lapras saves Ash, and then brings Lapras and Ash and Pikachu go to shore. And Tracy and Misty are like, oh, hey, you didn't drown. That's cool.
Nice.
And now Lapras is with Ash?
Yeah, they're going to go help Lapras.
Yeah.
Ash is going to battle the Orange Crew, do his little island challenge. And then he's also going to help Lapras get back to its family and friends along their travels.
And that's
the episode.
That's the episode.
They drift off into the ocean right on top of Lapras.
Mm-hmm.
Lapras is their ocean transport. So yeah.
So what'd you think of this episode?
I gave it 2 full torps because more happened in this episode than in the other the last 2 episodes.
Combined, yeah.
Combined.
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Actually, like, I gave a shit about the Lapras. Like,
yeah. And the Lapras was fucking cute.
Yeah.
Like, I like this Lapras. It's probably going to be whiny. I'm going to hate it soon. But for now, I like it.
Yeah.
And
that being said, this episode is super padded and forgettable.
It is super padded and, like, kind of comb-overy.
Yeah.
So, it's only a 2 because of that. Like,
same here, by the way. I'm also giving it a 2.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's is not revolutionary. I didn't find out anything cool or interesting about Tracy or Lapras. Like, Tracy's character is so bland. They introduce a character and is not a character.
No, Tracy has a magical Venonat. That because it has bug eyes, of course that means it has radar detection.
Yeah. That was the thing too, I forgot.
Yeah. I think they're going to use that multiple times in this season.
I can't wait.
And like the truck was actually like detailed like a truck in its eyes. More detailed than an actual radar is. What? For what evolutionary purpose does that provide Venonat? So that way it can trace its predators or something? Don't trace your predators, just run away. But except you can't, because you're 3 feet f***ing tall. And you're a blob of a Pokemon.
And you have feet and no legs.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, these were 4 very weak episodes.
Yeah.
Like, this last one was a step up from the other 2, and that's so sad. Because this one wasn't very... Like, in another batch of episodes, this would probably be, like...
A 1.5?
Well, it just would have been, comparatively, it would have been a much weaker episode.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But this is a stronger episode in this batch.
Yeah.
We're off to Orange Island and a really good start.
Yeah, we're off and running away and never coming back.
You know, viewers, if you watch this for our English, f*** you, but good for you.
We'll let you know if there comes along any episodes in the Orange Island that you should actually sit down and watch. Until then, assume that they're not going to be very good.
I think Ash does catch a Pokemon in the Orange Islands. So, for canonical reasons, that one will be important. Oh, and Misty also catches a Pokemon in the Orange Islands.
Woohoo! We'll move on to Pokemon of the Day?
Let's move on to Pokemon of the Day.
Okay, it's time for Pokemon of the Day / week / day.
Yeah, slash podcast.
Pokemon podcast.
Podcast Podpoke.
Podpoke?
The Podemon.
The poke that we pod?
The Podemon.
Pod that we pod?
Podmon. There we go.
Podmon.
I'm really afraid.
You're starting to get like anxiety every time you pick a Pokemon.
Because okay, just to choose a different number, I'm gonna choose a different number.
Go for it.
1.
1 is going to be Swellow. Swellow's awesome, man.
Yeah, but like,
come on, man.
I actually did plan on training one, but then I got distracted with better Pokemon and or the new game had. You know what? The new Sun and Moon had just come out when I was starting to train a Swellow, or starting the breeding process for a Swellow. So then I dropped training and
you need to
Alpha
get
Sapphire.
you need to get a Swellow, man. Swellows are awesome
because it has guts.
Yeah,
and fucking.
It gets stab facade with guts, man. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it just.
And it's fast as all fucking hell.
I just don't like. I like the other birds better. The only one I don't like. The only 2 I don't like less than Swellow is Noctowl and Unpleasant.
And
Unpheasant.
Oh, and Pheasant's so.
I trade Pidgeot because of Mega Pidgeot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That Pidgeot has a Mega.
Hurricanes all over the place.
Yeah. Swellow's not my favorite of the like Route 1 bird Pokemon, but I actually really like this Pokemon a lot. It
is good, and if I were to nickname it, I would nickname it Gustavo.
Gustavo? Why?
I don't know, because it looks like an Italian like soap opera. It looks like an Italian either soap opera star or an opera singer, because it's got like its feathers like pulled back, like waxed back, and then suddenly they're like jutting out from behind its head. It's very fancy looking.
Okay, let me pull up the stat page for Swellow.
But Swellow ranks 4th, I think, of the 7.
Swellow would rank 3rd or 4th for me as well. I mean, it's really in the middle, but like the 2 things that it really has going for it are Guts and Scrappy, which are 2 very good abilities. Because with Scrappy too, I've seen this strategy before. Just hit it. Just put like Choice Specs Boom Burst on this thing, and with Scrappy, everything. With Scrappy, it hits everything. So like with Choice Specs Boom Burst and maybe Heat Wave as a coverage move as well, like there's nothing that can switch into it in some maybe Rock type Pokemon, but I'm sure there's something else you could give it for that. Hidden Power Water or something.
Heatran.
Well, Heatran's a f***er to deal with anyway.
Yeah. I want there to be like a non-legendary Fire Steel.
Yeah, me too.
Pokemon.
So, but yeah, I really like Swellow. Its stats are halfway decent. Its speed is phenomenal.
It's speed and attack, right? That's its big ones.
And its attack is decent at 150. With Guts, though, you're gonna get a very nice.
What's that base attack?
Boost. 85.
85 attack and then 125 speed.
And 125 speed.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a bit of a wet paper bag with its defensive stats, but if you wanted to, like, I use Protect on mine. I have Protect, Quick Attack, Facade, and Brave Bird.
Is the Protect so that way the Toxic Orb can...
It has a turn to activate, and then you can also scope out and see what your opponent's going to use. Brave Bird, like, Guts Brave Bird is going to probably knock out almost anything. Well, that doesn't resist it.
That doesn't resist it, yeah.
Yeah, because that is a powerful
And
attack.
if it's weak to it, then, yeah,
it's gone, yeah. I mean, Talonflame.
Talonflame.
Brave Bird is an amazing attack. Those, especially when it's off a very fast Pokemon.
Even Ash uses Brave Bird.
Yeah. Especially when it's off a really fast Pokemon like Swellow.
Is there anything else to talk about Swellow? I'm sorry.
No, that's pretty much it. It's great.
It's a fast
bird Pokemon.
It's pre Talonflame.
It's pre Talonflame. There's not a whole lot of other stuff you can do with it. Reversal, if you want to give it like a Focus Sash.
Learns Endeavor.
Reversal. Huh?
Learns Endeavor.
So
you could
Endeavor quick attack. Do that whole thing. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot of options because its defensive stats are shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to run a special set, it's possible now, especially in 7th Gen since it got a nice
Okay, but its special attack is shit though, right?
Well, in Generation 6, before Generation 7, it had a base special attack of 50. Now it has a base special attack of 75.
Whoa!
That's a big difference.
75, yeah, that is.
Yeah,
that's actually a huge difference.
Yeah, like it's actually usable now. Like you put a choice specs on it, it'll hit.
Why did they give it so much investment in special attack?
Probably because I don't know.
What? If they're trying to make Pokemon diversity more of a thing in the competitive leagues, shouldn't they give it in more attack, if anything?
Well, maybe they
or more defense.
I don't know. That's a really good question. I like that they gave a special attack because I want to use a special attacking Swellow, but it is odd that they did it.
Yeah. Guts only affects attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not special attack.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
So what do you think of the Pokemon overall? Like, design-wise?
Okay, so here's the other thing. I like Pidgeot, Staraptor, Talonflame, and Toucannon more. So actually, yeah, it's 5 on my list. Because it's one of the 2-stage birds.
Yeah.
So it lacks that ferocity.
Yeah.
That those other 5 have. It looks nice and looks cool.
But it also looks very plain.
It looks very plain.
It looks like a bird.
It is a bird. They have made a bird a Pokemon. It has 2 tails. That's what makes it a Pokemon. So aesthetically, it's gonna get a 1.5.
Mm.
But overall, not 2.
A 2.
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, it's not an amazing Pokemon. It's not, but there's also like not a lot to talk about with it because it's just kind of.
It's there.
It's there. It's gonna do one of 2 things, pretty much, and then you're done.
Kill itself, or what's the other thing?
Kill itself with Brave Bird.
Oh no, that's what I'm calling the first. Kill itself.
I was thinking like Endeavor. If you want to do Endeavor.
Oh, okay.
If you want to do a special set, really like trick up your opponent, like maybe 1 of 3 things then. If you want to count that as a whole other thing.
But do you want to do that though?
Surprise factor can make a big difference in some battles.
I'm curious to see what kind of battle that surprise factor will have influence on.
Well, let's see. Like I know one big counter that you could see with one counter with a regular.
Oh, Boom Burst Scrappy.
Yeah,
okay.
Scrappy Boom Burst. Like that's gonna.
Can you imagine if Pidgeot knew Boom Burst?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
God, that'd be cool.
Mega Pidgeot is one of my least favorite megas.
Because you've mentioned this. Because Mega Pidgeot does completely different shit.
Yeah.
Than regular Pidgeot does.
Yep. It's a completely different type of Pokemon entirely.
Yeah. Which is not what a Mega should be. It should just enhance.
Exactly. What is already there. Like Ampharos from last week.
Yeah. Well, Ampharos
is just a buff of Mega Ampharos is just a buff of regular Ampharos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you said like Ampharos, like with disdain. Like
no. I meant like as a positive.
Oh, okay.
As in Ampharos, which is
gotcha.
Good Mega. Anything else you want to talk about for this podcast then?
Did you see the poster for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? New poster?
No.
It's a nice looking. Like, go on Cerebi, pull it up. It's cool looking. They show the two main characters in like shadow, which they don't usually do for promotional art. Lily's in her go get 'em attitude outfit. Gladion is still being Gladion. Hal looks like he's actually trying for once, and then we have a bunch of mystery figures up on top. Probably a new villain team.
Yeah, that does
so it's a pretty epic looking poster.
Yeah, I'm excited for Sun and Moon, for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. By the time this podcast comes out, obviously, Gold and Silver, the re-releases, will have been out for like 3 weeks already. So
that'll put. So this will be just out before.
It'll be like a month before.
A month before.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, something like that. By the time this podcast gets released, we'll be like a week or two away from getting these actual games.
Oh, we haven't even talked new Ultra Beasts. Did we mention that last week?
There are new Ultra Beasts?
There are new Ultra Beasts. So if they're a new Ultra Beast, do you think they're a new Pokemon?
That's a good question.
Technically, Ultra Beasts are Pokemon.
Yeah. There are new Pokemon then.
You got Burst, and you got whatever is a synonym for fucking sturdy.
Have their
fortitude.
Have their designs been released?
Yeah, they have.
I'm actually curious to see what they look like.
Yeah, one of them's really silly looking. The other's really cool looking. The silly one is Burst. There it is.
Where?
Yeah, Assembly.
UV Assembly. Oh, so it's like a giant rock.
It's a
giant pile of rocks, and then what the hell?
Yeah, it's a clown thing.
It's a clown with a hat on a stick. A clown hat on a stick.
Yeah.
Well, now we have something for Pennywise to shove up his ass.
Do you not like Pennywise?
Oh, Pennywise is cool.
Oh, okay. Assembly's cool because, like, it's animation. It's, like, flipping the bricks, like, inside and out. So you see that eyes are on the interior of itself.
They are interesting.
Yeah, Burst is going to be an Ultra Sun. Assembly will be an Ultra Moon. So I'm going to have to find a way to hopefully get Assembly, because that's the one I'm excited for. But I'm getting Ultra Sun to continue my sun, while my wife is getting Ultra Moon to continue her moon.
I now own Sun and Moon, so I might do.
She has yet to beat Moon, and I can't tell her that fucking spoiler alert, that fucking Nebby evolves into the mascot Pokemon.
Well, those are all good things to be excited for.
Yep.
Anything else for this podcast, Nick? Or
if you see a pink little puffball that can inflate itself, pop it.
And then set it on fire.
And then set the remains on fire.
And then pour those remains into acid.
And then bury that bucket of acid.
And then blow up the ground that bucket was on.
And then just run.
And never look back.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.